Hi, groups 2 and 3. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about estimating. And yesterday we talked about front-end estimation, when you take the first digit and you make the rest zeros and you round the number that way. But I know that when we looked at rounding the number to the nearest tens or hundreds, it was a little bit confusing. And so today we're going to do a little bit more work on that. So if we look at this number line that we have out here, this question asks us right away. It says, what number is 2 closer to? Is it closer to 0 or to the 10? So you see that they've drawn us a number line out here from 0 all the way to 10. And what we notice about that, guys and girls, is the 2 is definitely closer to the 0 than the 10. So if we look at our number line from 0 to 10, which numbers would you say are closer to 0? Okay, well, I'm going to cut a number line right in half at 5, and I would say that 4, 3, 2, or 1 are closer to 0, and I would say that 6, 7, 8, and 9 are closer to 10. Now, 5 is kind of a special case because it's right in the middle. So mathematicians have decided, whether you agree or disagree, they've decided that the rule in math is a 5 is always going to be closer to 10. So if the question was to round these numbers 12, 16, 23, 24, and 27 to their nearest 10, the first thing we have to do is we have to look at these numbers and see, okay, what number is in the tens digit? Well, I have 12, 16, 23, 24, and 27. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to look at the tens digit in each of these numbers. So ones, tens, ones, tens, ones, tens, ones, tens, ones, and tens, pardon me. So if I'm looking at the tens digit, what I want to decide is I want to decide whether these numbers are closer to the 10 that's there. So are they closer to 1 tens or 10, or the next one, which is 2 tens? So let's take a look at 12. If we look on our number line right here, 12 has 1 10, 2 ones. It is definitely closer to 10. So we would round that number to 10. 16, let's take a look at 16. We know that 5 is right in the middle, so 15 is right in the middle. 16, is closer to 20. So if we were to round that number up, 16 would round to 20. 23, is it closer to 2 tens, or is it closer to 3 tens? Looks closer to 2 tens to me. 24 is getting pretty close to the middle, but it's not quite there yet. So 24 is also closer to 20. What do you think about 27? We know that 25 is the middle here. So 27 is 1, 2, 3 away from 30, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from 20. So it is definitely closer to 30. That's called rounding, guys and girls. And what we're doing is we're rounding the number to the nearest 10. Okay? Let's look at this one. It says, draw an arrow showing which number you would round to if you had to round the circled numbers to the nearest 10. Okay, let's draw some arrows here. So we'll get our highlighter out here. 51 is closer definitely to 50. It would round to 50. 53, getting closer to the middle, still closer to 50. 56 Past the middle, closer to 60. 59 would round to 60. What is it closest to? Look at this one, 64. 65 is the middle. 64 is closer to 60 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away from 60. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from 70. And last but not least, let's look at 68. Definitely looks much closer to 70. We could also, guys and girls, do this with larger numbers. So it doesn't just have to be numbers in the 2 digits. It can be numbers in the 3 digits. So let's read the question here. It says, draw an arrow showing which number you would round to if you had to round the circled numbers to the nearest 10. This is key here, is we're rounding to the nearest 10. We're not looking at the hundreds, we're looking at the tens. So we're looking at the 3 in this digit. Are we rounding it closer to 230? Or are we rounding it closer to 240? So we're looking at the tens digit. That's really important, guys and girls. So 231, is it closer to 230 or 240? It's pretty easy on the visual to see. 231 would round to 230. So if we were to write this, guys and girls, and someone asked us to round 231 to the nearest 10, our answer would be 230 because we're looking at the tens digit. After the tens digit, we have a 0, so we're looking at this tens digit. Let's look at 238. 238 is definitely closer to 240. So looking at the tens digit, 238 rounds up to 240 because that's where it's closer to. Take a look at 243, and on your sheets, under the W portion right now, would you say that 243 would round to 240? Or would 243 round up to 250? .243 would round to 240. That's where it's closer to. And last but certainly not least, let's look at 247. Would it round to 250? Would it round to 240? It is closer to 250, and that's where we would round it to. So if we think about rules to rounding, you might have noticed that when we look at numbers, any number that is 4 or less rounds down. So for example, 21, 22, 23, 24 would all round to 20. But numbers that are 5 or greater, they always round up. For example, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, all round to 30. So the question here says, what digit should you look at? What digit should you look at? Well, if we're rounding to the tens digit, so for example, if we're looking at 38 or 138, first you're going to look at the tens digit. Find the ones tens digit, ones tens digit. But the digit that really matters the most is the one that's next door. This 8 tells us what to do. This 8 tells us that 38 is closer to 40. So you want to find the digit that it's asking you to round to, and then you want to look next door. Let's try another one right here. Let's say we have 342. And we have the number 24. Okay? And the question is round to the nearest tens, right? So let's see here. Let's find our highlighter. We're rounding to the nearest 10. So let's find our tens digit because we want to know where we're going there. And then let's find the one next door, the ones digit. That one's really important. Ooh, did you find my mistake? This is not the tens digit in that number. This is the tens digit. Pardon me. Ones, tens. But I want to look at the ones digit to tell me what to do. When I look at these questions, guys and girls, and I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I see that the 2 tells me we're closer to 40. And we're not going to go all the way to 50. So the 3 stays the same. The 4 is going to stay the same because we're closer to it. And then I'm going to add a 0. If I look at this one, the 2 is going to stay the same because the 4 tells me that we're closer to 20. So let's do a little bit of practice. The reason why we round, guys and girls, is because it helps us to estimate. And estimating, we know, is so important to figure out whether when we add or subtract or multiply or divide, our answers sound like they're close to the right answer. And so, guys and girls, if we look at 24 and we want to know, is it closer to 20 or 30? One of the strategies I like to use is I like to pretend that this line is a highway. And on each end of this highway, I have gas stations. And this gas station over here is called gas station 20. And this gas station over here is called gas station 30. And I run out of gas at 24. Am I going to go back to gas station 20? Or am I going to go all the way to gas station 30? Which one's closer? So we know the first thing we need to do is we need to make our lines. We have 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 in the middle, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Sorry, I could have been more even there. So we are stuck at gas station 21, 22, 23, 24. Are we going to round to 20 and go back there for gas? Or are we going to go all the way to 30 for gas? What are you thinking? Pause the video and write your answer down on the W portion of your sheet. I'm thinking, guys and girls, it would be the smartest choice if we ran out of gas to round 24 to 20 and get our gas quicker. We might not make it all the way to 30. So let's do the same thing with 53. Is it closer to gas station 50? 50. Or is it closer to gas station 60? Where are you going to head for gas if you run out at 53? Pause the video, talk to whoever you're working with, and see where are you going to go for gas. Are you going to go to 50 or to 60? Which is the closest? If you said you'd head back to gas station 50, that's a smart choice. Because if we look at this number and we look at the tens, and then we look at the ones, the 3 here tells us we're closer to 50. So head on back to 50 and get your gas there. Guys and girls, try these next 2 questions. Is 276 closer to 270 or 280? Where would you go for gas? And is 387 closer to 380 or 390? Where would you go for gas? Guys and girls, we'll talk about these when I meet with you tomorrow. And I understand this is a bit of a complicated subject, so we're going to work on it more and more. Please fill out the S portion of your sheet so I know what do you understand about rounding, and fill out the Q section. Mrs. F, this is the thing I'm not getting. And I'll meet with you next math class to chat about it.